What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talking Again podcast. I am your host, Fidel. This is The Tap. Thank you for tuning in, and please make sure and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to click on the notification bell. You can also find the show on all your popular podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen. Let's get this show started. What's up, everybody? This is Fidel, Talking Again podcast. We're here on The Tap Studios. And I'm here with Julio Gonzalez.
What's up, man? That's that SupWey right there. Comedian, too. On top of everything else.
Yeah. we didn't say that when I messed up when we were recording before previously.
I figured I'd throw that in. When we get a second chance to do something, you better take advantage. Learn from your mistakes.
Right? Yeah. That's good. I like it. All right. So, Julio G.
Yes.
Right? That's how most people know you. Julio G.
Julio G. Yeah. YouTube has a video of me and that's Laugh Factory. Laugh Factory Julio G.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can find that out there. And everybody's like, is that the dude from the radio? I'm like, no, that's not. You want to buy a shirt, though?
Come see me after the show.
I know.
Yeah, right?
Always pushing.
That's funny. OG comedy all over social media.
Yeah, OG comedy all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat, even Twitter. Twitter I don't even use. Like Snapchat, I check every once in a while. Yeah. But Twitter, I don't even know why I have that, man.
I have a Twitter too, man, and I don't use it. I can't get to it, man. I can't, I don't get it.
I gotta find a program that can run everything.
Yeah.
Just one thing that can
like
run
that program
everything.
you were using on the MySpace generator thing, right?
Yeah, that's that right there.
Yeah.
That was the program right there, man. That's how I got my start. Thanks to that, I got a bunch of people. And then the company I was working for at the time too, they had like 300 employees.
Yeah.
And it was my job to like go to different areas. So I went everywhere trying to sell tickets, man. I used to sell like bootleg movies.
Yeah.
Till they told me to stop. They're like, hey, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, my bad. I was just hooking up a few people,
Yeah. So now you said, selling tickets for your show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Selling tickets for the show.
Are you still using that old school, go to the radio stations, your local radio station? Let's say you got a gig in Denver or whatever, Colorado.
We do a little bit of both. And a lot of the times the promoters already have the people coming.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's that type of show, but all shows like need the promotion.
Yeah.
Need that push right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can be quite a bit of money you're throwing back into it,
Right.
But for the main time, you just reach your main people out there on social media. And when you go out there, try to see how many more people want to follow you with how good you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, because, you hear like right now, I listen to a lot of comedians and, they're always talking about that's the old school way of doing, your comedy stuff, right? Go to a radio station. Like, nowadays, you don't need it anymore.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you still kind of lose a little bit of that fan base that you're not gaining.
Yeah, you do and you don't. I think for once, you got to understand why that worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know why that worked? There was that personal touch. I heard about comics that would mail out postcards.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking old school promotion now.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds smart because you grab everybody right there in that area. And all it is a numbers game.
Yeah.
So if your numbers, like, say if you're all about social media and it's not turning out nothing, then probably be about the old school.
Yeah.
Go out there, stand in front of the
different.
club,
Yeah.
Tell people, because you just need a couple people to tell more people to tell more people. So
Yeah.
you're selling yourself, basically,
Yeah.
That's what a major push is. So on top of that, you're still living your life and doing everything else. So you got to find time for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's like 5 minutes a day, just something.
Are you doing mostly local shows, or you do go a lot of like on the road?
No. I go to Texas quite a bit, Arizona quite a bit. See where else? But Vegas, just went to Vegas recently, but I always go out of state. El Paso's like one of my favorite ones. There's a club out there called the Comic Strip. I always have fun out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just try to drive as many places as I can.
Yeah, save that money, right?
Save that money.
Or
get a plane
be
ticket
resourceful.
when I have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain places you follow like all these cheap airlines because you're trying to see the deals. It's like
give them a little plug, maybe you can get something
go to
going on.
McAllen for $100. I'm like, all right. How many seats on that plane?
Yeah. You start doing improv on the plane.
Right? See a way we reduce this ticket, man.
Yeah.
And then the suitcase you carry on is like $500. Like they find a way to get you.
Well, yeah, because you got to carry with all your merch, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of times where I got to think about that. I'm like, am I going to make enough? Because I got to pay for it, and I don't need to get there, but to come back.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of are a lot of your sales through merch after a show, or does it even out?
Sometimes, I mean, it always depends on the show and depends on the crowd. Because I know sometimes we like, if you're gonna do a weekend, like one of the nights might be free tickets or something, and there'll be like different types of people. Because I've seen all types of scenarios where either you do great or you don't do any at all.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then everything in between. But it's like a hit and miss, and thing is that you're always prepared for it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's worth the risk, and sometimes you end up losing like $40 because you didn't sell enough.
Yeah.
Or something. But the pay and everything else, you factor into it, and eventually it makes sense. There's a lot of times where I'm like, man, this dinner was paid by 2 shirts.
Start chopping it up that way.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna spend a shirt and watch a movie.
Yeah. That's funny. You know what? I work off commission, and I think the same thing. Sometimes I'm taking pictures. I was like, I'm kind of done for the day. But then I'm like, well, I did want to go out to a Dodgers game, though. You know, so maybe I should do it extra. Let me get one more in there. You know, that's funny.
You just need that drive.
Yeah.
Something's driving you.
Yeah. It's hard. Is it hard for you not to take it personal when sales aren't up? I see it like I'm in the car business. So
no, you know what? No. Short answer, no. I don't think so. I take it harder because I recently had somebody try to steal. Like
steal mushroom after a show.
Yeah, bro. After a show, I mean, I got so much on the table. You can see everything I got here.
Yeah.
I got so much on the table. And what happened is that she started talking when I was on stage, and I guess she didn't like the way I handled that.
Yeah.
But then I guess to
well,
be fair to her,
she was heckling
was
or something, and you guys
she was heckling, and I shut her down.
Yeah.
And she was drinking too. So when she walked by the table, she grabbed one of the sweaters and just took it. And then her husband was the guy that came back, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I don't think that's right, and I want to pay for it. How much is it?" So I was like, 25 for that one, man. It's like, all right, here, bro. Here you go. God. That's not right.
No shame.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, that was a trip. Like that right there, I was mad for a minute at her, but then to see him, I kind of like, my heart went out to him. Because he's the one that's got to deal with this, you know? And
he had to make it right.
I can understand, I can understand how that is, you know, paying for somebody else's actions. So I was like, all right. But that's the only time I really got offended. Yeah. And then quickly just overwhelmed with, like, respect for that act. Because they could have went away. I had no idea. I had no idea. It wasn't like, hey, a sweater's missing. I didn't know. I thought we sold it. It was two of us working the table, man.
No bodyguards?
Nah. You know what? We had a lot of security. This was at a casino, at the Bicycle Casino in Bell Gardens.
Oh yeah, we're in
Yeah. It was right there. We were up on the 2nd floor. Beautiful place. The place was packed.
They remodeled it, right?
Yeah. It looks nice. It looks nice. And bro, there was a line of people just waiting, so we weren't able to tell. But security's right there. Usually they're pretty good if they see something.
It was an inside job. That's what it was.
Bro. We had some gaming tables around there, probably be on camera. Bro.
Oh, I know, right? For sure.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle a heckler? I mean, obviously every situation is different, but
just like that, I gotta let them know that you're not gonna get paid to talk. It's just me. So why even talk? And then everybody else was laughing, so why stop that? Yeah. Sometimes I'll just stop and I'll look at them. And they'll keep talking till they notice nobody else is laughing or nothing. Then they look at me and I'll be like, I didn't want to be rude. I'm going to let you finish. Yeah. You know, I was raised better.
Yeah.
So I try to make them feel bad.
I have manners.
I have manners. I try to make them feel bad like that. Most of them kind of take it. I try to do it in a way where they're not going to be mad.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of comics that can just dig into a person. I had a good friend of mine. He's funny. But if he can pluck on anything that can make you laugh, bro, he might piss you off sometimes. And that's what happened, man. Some guy got mad at him, hit him. Oh. He was on his cell phone. He's just standing there on his cell phone making a call. Dude comes up from behind, hits him. His head hits a pool table on the way down. I just could have seriously injured him, you know?
Yeah.
And all because of the way he took a joke.
Yeah. Jeez.
You can try to throw blame on either side, right? He shouldn't have said it, or he shouldn't have took it that way.
Right.
But either way, man, it was just words. It's crazy how powerful they are. So I'd rather use them to. I mean, I had moments where they hate me when I'm on stage, but I get them so good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, at the end, they'll high five me. Or they'll come buy me drinks. The first time it ever happened to me, I was doing shows in Texas, and guys wouldn't shut up. But the way I came at them, the whole crowd was laughing.
Yeah.
I go off stage, and these 3 guys are coming at me now, and I'm like, oh, damn, I know I can take out one. At least one.
Just get one lick in there.
And dude comes up, and he's like, let me buy you a drink. I'm so sorry. He was apologizing for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, go for it. But yeah, those moments I always try to come out like that.
Yeah.
Like that. But there's times where I just ignore it,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll stop on their own.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people
It's
just
like
drink
it's
too
like
much.
they say, knowing the room, right?
Yeah,
knowing the room,
exactly.
knowing who it is, knowing that
some people you just don't want to give.
you
them
can't
attention.
control alcohol.
You don't want to give them attention.
Yeah.
You know, if they date, they'll take it and shine with it
Right.
and try to compete now.
Yeah.
I think this is a got talent or something.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like when you're young, you know. Well, for me, like, I wouldn't say, I mean, funny guy, whatever. But I've always been, my defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, growing up, I was always a little chonchito, right? Big kid. So before you could make fun of me, I'm gonna make fun of myself.
Yeah,
Make you laugh about me.
You took away my gun.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I had this pointed at you.
Yeah.
Like, give it to me.
Do
I can do it better.
Exactly, right?
That's what
do
it
it
is.
like the 8 Mile.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the heckling thing, right? Like, hey, they're over there, make them feel like they're part of it, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I'm
and
like,
like those are the best ones that can shut you down by.
It is, and sometimes you have to do that to go back to giving the people what they paid for.
Right.
And they just pay to laugh.
It's not everybody else's fault that mocoso right there is.
They're doing that. Yeah. So that's that. That's why I gotta just sometimes shut it down. Sometimes I just ignore it because I know it's gonna go on too long.
Yeah.
Because you've been in those moments before. I had, you know what? There was one time where Hecklers saved me, bro. Because I remember going through something, taking like a long time ago, taking one of my girls to the hospital because she had I think it was like a kidney stone thing. Right?
Yeah.
So I tried to talk about it that night, and it wasn't going good.
Yeah.
You know, like I
Working out
just
material.
went through it.
Yeah,
I just went through it, and this was a big show. There was a lot of people there. And a drunk guy in the front started talking, and I got this video up on YouTube. It's called Julio Comedy, Drunk Guy or something like that.
Yeah.
He saved the show, man. Like, I killed it with our interaction, right? Because he was completely gone, and I was able to take everything he was saying and just flip it around on him.
Yeah.
And that right there saved me. So sometimes, you know what? A heckler can be a good thing. You know, there's good and bad in everything, is what I'm saying.
Do you remember the first time you bombed?
Yeah. And you know what? More recently, not even the first time. The first time wasn't even that bad. There was like, okay, the first time what it was is I was doing what they call an open mic. An open mic, for the most part, is just a bunch of comedians watching other comedians.
Mm-hmm.
And this one comedian had his friends at the show, and he was up there doing this stuff about how he wants to look gay because he's saying all the gay dudes he knows is buff.
Yeah.
So that was his joke, is saying he wants to be gay is equal to looking buff.
Yeah.
And he had another joke where he said he hated parades. So he's running around doing all kinds of stuff and just talking about how much he hates it. And when I go up there, I'm like, you keep doing that parade joke, you look gay in no time. And I thought it was funny, but his friends hated that. So they didn't even laugh. And after that, what happens is the emotions take over. They're like, oh, these people are judging me. Oh, these people are hating me. That's really when you bomb right there. Because if you can take that and still be in control and still go, then you're good.
Yeah.
Right? But then you got the other side where they start booing. Now, I had that before.
It's harsh.
I had that before. Yeah, I was hooking up a friend of mine. He's like, hey, bro, come out to the show and just, do 30 minutes. And you know what? Tell you the truth, he told me do time. I didn't know it was 30 minutes until I got there. 30 minutes isn't the issue. Mm-hmm. The issue was this is an oldie concert. And they want to see oldies. Nobody came there to see a comedian. Exactly. Yeah. Nobody saw that I was on it. Here's the thing, bro. Like, when I go on stage, I like to hit them hard. And I was doing good, but after like 10 minutes or so, people were like, how long is this going to go? Like, there's some people in the back that were standing up. Their tickets only standing up. There was like 1,200 people in the audience. Damn. So 500 or 300, so to speak, are like sitting all right here on the tables, and they can all, they're sitting down, they're comfortable, they're looking, they're laughing, they're enjoying it. The back half is like, what the hell, bro? I didn't see him on the flyer. Yeah. But my homeboy needed me to fill in that time.
Right.
Because the other band's got to get ready and do that. So I got no choice but to keep going. Yeah. So right into like the 20-minute mark is when I heard the boos, bro. The ones in the back, they're like, and man, that was the first time like I've ever felt anything like that. And sometimes, like, even when I've done comedy competitions before where I've lost, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I got way more like, like you feel that. But this night was just like a trip. Like, I'm like, man, if this was a club and it was a stage or this was a theater, I would have done great.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that half of these people are standing up, they've been standing up for 3 hours, and they don't want to, just stand.
Well, they're waiting for
dance.
music. Yeah.
They want.
I've been to those old school shows. Everybody's smoking weed and they fucking, feeling the music.
And they're like, I wasn't that big on the flyer anyways. I took a lot of time. I took a lot of time up there, and that was the first time I got booed. And after that,
how'd you handle that
night? I handled it like basically telling myself, you know what, this is just one night and it wasn't the right, it wasn't the right time. Right. I almost felt like they were watching a movie. They stopped watching the movie. I came in, did some jokes, and then you go back to the movie. It wasn't the right time. So that's not really like a fail to me, that because I thought of it like that, I'm just like, well, of course, and in the fact that I even went, 19 minutes without them booing was great. And I got it on audio, too. That was
like the 20-minute emergency broadcast system, right?
Right, bro. Like, I was hanging in there. I was like Rocky the first one, bro. Like, I went all around, but I still lost, No one expected me to finish.
Oh, man. So, going on the road, Texas, you're out there doing your thing. What are some of the setbacks that you can have going on the road before a show?
Like car failure. Luckily, like on the road, I haven't had any issues, but over here, I had those issues. But that's one thing you got to plan on. That's why you got to like save that nest, and you never know, flat tire, anything that can happen, and then you need that insurance for that, bro. It's just being alive. You need so many things. You gotta plan your own budget. You gotta be your own business. I heard we're a corporation anyway ourselves, just being born. You gotta manage your money and be your own CFO.
You gotta take care of not just the car. You gotta take care of your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you never know what's gonna happen out there too. Sometimes you're in a different place. That's another reason why I don't like making fun of people too bad, or in a meaningful way, because
that's not much. Your comedy is more of like that storytelling of things that have happened to you.
Exactly. I'd rather not even just talk about people. I just go up there, just tell them all the stuff I've been through. But you never know who's who. Yeah. You talk to the big guy over there, and sometimes you gotta pay that respect. Yeah. The other thing, I've been to like some ghetto hotels, man. Like I was in Houston one time. It was funny they call it H-Town, man, because this is my second night in this room. And I was getting out the shower, and I look at the shower door, and on top of the shower door, there's 3 hypodermic needles, just 3 of them, just laid out. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm standing on my tippy toes, just looking at them. I'm like, are you serious? And I had to go meet somebody, a friend of mine, another comic. I had to go meet him. So we go out there and meet him. I don't have enough time to go back. I go out there, do the show. I come back late at night, and my flight was like at midnight or something. Yeah. So I get back to the hotel. I call the guy. I'm like, hey, man, there's 3 needles up here. And he's like, I'm like, I didn't see him yesterday. He goes, so somebody put him there yesterday? I go, no, that's not what I'm saying. But he was more concerned with when they got there than the fact that they're there. Yeah. Didn't even say like, oh, man, my bad. Let me give you a free breakfast in the morning. Nothing, brother. They're just like, oh, okay, just leave him there. Like,
somebody will use them
for the next guy.
Yeah, they're resourceful out here.
And then once you see needles on the door frame, you start thinking, what else? What they do to the bed, man?
Yep. Like, you didn't get that old school black light, Get a blacklight through the floor.
Sometimes it's better to be ignorant to that stuff. You know what goes on, but how good you gonna sleep?
Yeah, right.
You rather forget about it and enjoy it.
That's true.
But yeah, those are some of the issues. Luckily, nothing too bad's ever happened to me. I know other comics have gone through horror stories. You know? And then I also try not to like get too messed up when I'm out there. You know, if I enjoy a drink, I enjoy a few drinks. But yeah, try not to get too crazy out there too, because then you got people that don't even know you.
Yeah,
right? And they're free to do whatever the hell they want.
Right. You don't want to mess around with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So that would be the last part, is being by yourself.
Yeah.
Like sometimes nobody else is there, so you get this great burst of energy from, you know, X amount of people laughing with you, and then after that, the talking, the socializing, but then hotel room by yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the other part.
That's like that depression, when that depression starts to kick in. A lot of comedians have gone through it, right?
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of time is like, I noticed the ones that are more active, you know, if they're there and they also go do, you know, whatever, shopping, go do a hike or go do something, as long as you're moving, you tend to be more happy anyway.
Right.
But a lot of the times I get into those moments where I just stay there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm like, at home, I'm constantly moving. I go to work, I come back, I work on that, I work on that.
Yeah.
Finally, I get a show on the road. It's like a vacation.
Yeah.
So I just stand there, and then after a while of watching a couple episodes of something, or even if you kill the season, you know, on the weekend, you're just what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. No, I'm sure that can take a toll on you.
That's the other part. Yeah, that's the other part. Just mentally, just being good with just you, you know, is a hard part, because like, if you ever had, like, when you were single, you had that lady come over and you're fine with how crappy the house looks, but when she comes over, you're like, I can fix this, I can fix this.
Pick up a little bit.
You become better for someone else,
right? Yeah.
So trying to do that for yourself, bro, that's that battle. I had it, I lost it, and now I'm trying to get it back, you know.
Yeah. Well, you did go through a crazy little battle, like, what, 6 years ago? You're
I was
big dude.
I was close. I was on my way to 400, bro. I was closer to 400 than I was to 3. Yeah, bro. I got to this point where, you know what it was? It was everything falling apart at the same time, like the perfect storm. I think it was right around 33. I was about 33. So, girl left. And it should have ended, right? Mm-hmm. It was a relationship that should have ended, but there was a child involved. Like, I became the stepfather and everything, so a lot of pain from that. And a lot of the fights were like, man, because I got this, I can't do this. So now my argument was null and void. It's only me. And it became me looking into myself. I quit a lot of shows. Like, I canceled the whole month of shows. And I'm like, I'm going to go have to do my work, but when I get back, it's just going to be about how am I going to fix this?
Yeah.
And it had to be like that, because if I just spent a little time or whatever, if I didn't take it that serious, then I knew I was gonna have some issues. So I started learning as much as I could, seeing, all right, somebody's already done what I want to do, so let me go find who they are.
Yeah.
And learn, because I don't got time to study 20 years of this stuff to get to where I want to be. So let me just look out there. And a lot of the times it's also who social media is throwing at you. You know, sometimes you see like the Gary, Vanderbrook or whatever. You see the video and it catches you. And
that's that. Like, is that green one, right? Or no. The green juice one? No.
No. It's another, like, motivational guy, kind of like a Tony Robbins.
Oh, the Gary V.
Yeah, Gary
V. I forget his last name, but Gary V. Yeah,
Gary V.
He's the one that he puts all the videos out, and then you got other fools that get in there and they just regurgitate what he said, you know, in their own way.
Yeah. Everybody wants to teach everyone else, man. Yeah. Nobody's willing to take their own advice. So that was the thing. I was starting to take my own advice, because I wanted to do comedy to a point where I can inspire something different. You know, if I can do a show where I talk about my weight loss and make somebody think, you know what, I can do it, then I think I got more value on my ticket, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so that's what it was. And in order for me to do that, I had to do it myself.
Right.
And I can't be up there 400 pounds talking about how you lose weight.
Right.
Maybe that would make it funnier.
Yeah.
You know how you do it. But it started me changing my mind. So once I changed my mind, I think the best way I heard it explained is you change how you feel, you change how you live. So I do jokes about it now, where I say a buddy of mine told me you got to learn how to love yourself. And I'm like, man, I love myself like 3 times a day. Like, there's no problem there. He's like, no. You got to go to the mirror and tell that to yourself. Like, you got to be your number one fan.
Yeah.
So that's like the step one that I had to take. So it became me going to the mirror, just constantly doing it. And you feel stupid at first. You're like, whatever, this is dumb. But after a while, like, bro, it like breaks you down. You keep trying to say something that your brain's fighting. Like, what do you mean? You're not healthy. You know, I'm just standing there like, I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm good, I'm worthy. You know, and the body starts fighting it. But you break it down just by doing it so much, and it's like, you know what? Yeah, you are, and you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. So I started thinking, you know what? I have full control. I can learn to love and hate whatever the hell I want. So I learned to love how to run, and you're talking about a guy that just didn't do that. Yeah. Like, I hated that part of physical ed back in high school, you know, like, you got to run the mile down. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to learn to love it. So I would try to find benefits of it. What's the good thing about it? And just force myself to go. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot of times where I pulled up already dressed up and everything. I'm like, no thanks, just I'm drive back up. Yeah. But I stuck to it. I kept pushing. And then I had some friends that would come up and just, you know, motivate me. And I remember the first time, you know, running 2 miles straight. You know, it was a light little jog, but I'm like, you know, I've done something like I've never done before. 2 miles it's just because I changed how I thought. Yeah. Like, I'm still the same person. I'm still that same guy, because we're talking like a few months later. And I kept going, bro. I kept going. I ran 7 like half marathons since then. Like, I wanted to push myself to see how far I can go. And training, I was doing 8, you know, 8 miles. Like, I got friends that are doing 13, 14, 15 miles just to train for that thing. I started meeting this one guy that was an ultra runner. He would do 100-mile races. Damn. So that's what I applied to myself, is like, all right, I want to do running. Who do I know that does running? Oh, this guy does running. And I started knowing all my friends, you know, somehow, yeah, I run on the way. Oh, damn. Like, we never talk about this. And one guy that we met through comedy, he came to a show. I saw him post all this stuff, and I reached out to him. I reached out to another friend that she lost her weight by hiking. So I'm like, you know what? I lost my weight by eating. So let's you know, work it out. Because this is, I think, well after I changed my diet. I think that was the first thing that I started doing, because I realized what you eat is most of it. Yeah. And then what you do to work out, like, really helps emotional stress level on top of the physical. Yeah. But it has that balance where it's more this and this, where eating is just all about weight and health and all that stuff. So that's
the clean eating helps the mind too.
Yeah,
you know, when you're eating junk, it's junk in here, you know, for your head too. You know,
that's exactly how I had to re-see it. Right. You know, it's like I started asking myself, who taught me how to eat? Who taught them? Yeah. Well, you know, and was it somebody that had their best interests at heart, or was it somebody that was trying to sell something? Yeah. So I started looking into everything, and I'm like, let me try it on myself. Yeah. So I tried it on myself, and I started seeing the change. I would do things like I would still go to McDonald's, because one guy made sense to me. He goes, don't just give up everything and only do this, because you're gonna give up. Yeah. You know, you can give up, but just replace one meal, one part of your meal, if you want to start that slow. You know, not even though just one part. Yeah. And what I do is I would go to McDonald's, get whatever I was going to get, come home and just slice up a whole cucumber, do like lemon, salt, pepper. Yeah. I would eat that first.
Try to get full.
And then go kill the burger, the nuggets, the fries, or whatever it was. And that's literally how I started. And then other meals, I wouldn't do the candy, I wouldn't do the soda, I would do the fruit, I would do...
Start cutting out all the sugars.
Yeah. So it slowly just started coming in, and I realized basically the more I ate, you know, out of the ground, the better I felt. The better I felt. Yeah. And then it got to a point where I forgot all about that. Like, if you look at me two years ago, I was a lot different than I am now. So I always tell somebody losing weight is like stocks, bro. Some years you're up, some years you're down, you know. But eventually, if you're here now, and if you see where you started and you got that gap, respect that gap. Yeah. Because a lot of people are like, they feel like they're still there. Yeah. You know, and that's where I got. I had other things in my life that allow me to just feel like a victim, and then I just started losing my grip. So now it's funny. I'm in the beginning of that remembering.
Yeah. Well, you got to go back, right?
Remembering everything I did, and I've been cleaning out like the closet. I'm finding old books where I used to write all this stuff, and I'm like, oh man, like I had this. Let's go back to it. So I think this came at the right time because I'm excited about that. So it's good.
That's good. That's perfect. No, at first I thought when I saw your logo, I thought you got your advice from Jared.
From Jared, right? Yeah.
I was like, oh, is that why? No. So of course, if anybody doesn't know, the SupWey is the Mexican hello.
The Mexican hello. That's all it is right there.
So you've kept off the weight.
Yeah.
Right. So
kept off the majority of the weight. There was a point where I was about 215. I was happy with that, but then I started creeping up to 230, and I'm floating right there. So I'm working on going back to, because you know what it was is I went vegan, and I get to a point where I'm eating like a lot of the processed stuff now, and then when I get home and I want that
like processed meats and stuff, or
well.
Oh, cause
like the fake meats, they're all processed food, and then you do
like
anything quick, anything fast, or anything fast food, so all that stuff's bad. So I'm going back to just sitting down, munching on peanuts and eating watermelon. like I'm going back to at least adding that stuff slowly back in so I can get back into my flow. So even if you eat a certain way, you can still eat it in a bad way, I guess, if that makes sense. You can still eat all the bad stuff in it, and it still won't have any benefit for you. So I'm trying to go back to as clean as I can.
Right.
Yeah, just slowly going into it.
So you're not trying to pick up a sponsorship or anything with Burger King, the unbelievable Whopper?
Man, I should try Whole Foods, man. Bring that bill down a little bit. Whole Foods or Amazon Prime. Bro.
Yeah. It's not cheap, right? Vegan food, like that vegan diet.
Well, we'll see. It's a trip because sometimes I'll spend like 26 and it's on like fruit. It's like mostly fruit. Yeah. And you're like, man, as long as it's gonna last me, but you can get expensive. Yeah. Because you start buying a lot of the fake stuff, then it's like $5 for that, $10 for that, and you add it up for the week, and you're looking at a couple hundred. And you can get that crazy, especially if you're eating now. Because there's a couple places that are now moving over to that.
There's a lot of restaurants that have vegan menus, just for
they have options, vegan, and there's like Veggie Grill, a couple places where they're just all vegan. Mm-hmm. Like you don't even got to worry about anything. Usually, gotta go, hey, where do you cook this? Yeah. Do you add that?
Yeah, because vegans have to have their own
basically
prep station,
basically is
your own kitchen.
There's like the ones where don't want nothing to intermix with that,
right?
And it's for different reasons. Some of it's for health, some of it's just ethical. They feel is ethical. So
why do you do it? Is it health or is it ethical?
I feel both because a lot of the documentaries that I watched, one of them involved water, right? And there was this crazy documentary where this dude would show the power of water. Basically, what long story short is that they had these you know how they do DNA testing? They get samples, they put it into a machine, and the machine tells you what the rest of the strand is. So the solution that they have to do this, there was nothing in it. There was no sample in it. All they did is they created a gene where they isolated just a DNA strand. I think it was from like an HIV patient or something, but it was just the DNA strand. And they put speakers on it that would record the little wave that it's giving out. So instead of putting anything in there, they just put the music. They let the music play to it, and then when they go to hit print, the damn thing came out. Same exact copy as that, and this is like Israel and France, right? Yeah. So basically they're saying that the water can take on anything. And then the other documentary that I saw that just matched it both up and kind of opened my eyes up to it was one about rice. You would do steamed rice or cooked rice, and the whole point of it is most of the rice is water. Yeah. So you put 2 jars, right? One label love, one label hate, 2 different rooms, same house. You talk love to one, thank you for being here, I appreciate it, I love you. And then the other one, just go as mean as you can, get it all out. Whatever you went through the day, you cut me off.
Pretend it's a heckler.
Exactly. Just give it what it says. Give it hate.
Yeah.
And you can watch the hate mold faster than the love. And the last realization is that our bodies are mostly water. Mm-hmm. So when the guy told me to talk to the mirror, that was me speaking love to the jar.
Yeah.
And I think most of all, that's probably like my first step where I should go back to again, because that's something I haven't done in a while. And it's just like a bath, bro. You know, if you haven't taken a bath, you're gonna stink.
Yeah.
And right now I stink, bro. I need to go back to it.
Let's get this man a mirror.
Yeah. You know what, bro? That's why they say learning is remembering, because all this I already knew. And you can ask anybody that's overweight, how do people mainly lose weight? Like, they know what to say. It's just that reason for doing it.
It's up here, you know. You don't allow yourself to get there. You don't allow yourself, you know. You keep making excuses.
No, like, I was my own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody talked to me the way I thought about myself, I would have messed them up.
Yeah.
Because they had no right to speak to me like that. But here I am doing it to myself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I broke it away by talking to myself differently, feeling different to live different. You know. Back to that point.
Yeah.
It's a trip, bro. Yeah.
So how long have you been vegan?
It's been a few years. It took a while to get to it, because
full vegan, right?
First I didn't want to believe it. I was like,
that's how I'm like, I'm not. I like my meats.
But you know what? It's funny that you brought me back. Okay, so water, all that energy. So now picture the animal. It's the same way.
Yeah.
But his life has now been torture. His life has been isolation. His life, picture you, if somebody put you in a room full of other people, like, you will go crazy. And that energy is what you're putting out. And that energy is what I was taking in when I was eating it. And then you add the fact that it died a long time ago, and then you're just eating it, you know, whatever, weeks, months, whatever it was. You start adding the fact that it became most of my meal. Most of my meal was that, and the way I would feel was just heavy, and I didn't notice it until I stopped eating it.
Yeah.
I just thought that's how you felt. You know, it's just so crappy that I thought it was normal all the time to be like that. But once I started eating cleaner, like, I would go a week or 2 weeks without any meat, and then I would be like, it's time to celebrate. Like, I did it. Eat a big old steak and just be way down. Granted, I was probably eating too much meat at one time to come back, you know. It was like not training and then running the marathon.
Right.
And those moments is what made me realize, well, then what's the point? What's the point of going back? Like, I don't like the way I feel on it. And maybe it's because it weighed me down, put me down, and I didn't want to do anything. I felt all depressed. But for me, I was just like, I'm consuming all this torture, this pain.
Yeah.
Let me go get that apple first, or let me go get this first. And that's mainly what pushed me towards that. I kept doing that. And then it got to the point where I'm just like, I don't want it anymore. I would always celebrate my year of doing comedy. It was January 17th. That was the first day I ever touched the stage.
Yeah.
And I always celebrated that by doing this big old barbecue. And that's the thing. I used to love the barbecue. Like, if I was to go back and tell 20-year-old me, we ain't eating meat no more, like, what the hell?
Stop playing.
Yeah. Like, this is how much I would love barbecuing. I used to live in Arizona. I went to school out there. I went to a UTI, right? It was like a technical school for automotive, but it would be 118 degrees, and I'm standing in front of a grill, like, doing ribs. Like, that's how much I love doing that. It used to be a big part of my life, but it was like an abusive relationship. I loved it, and it messed me up. Yeah. It beat me up. I got to 360, and I'm just like, nah, I can't love you no more. You know, we can't do this no more. Yeah. And because I felt so good not doing it, that's the only reason I just kept pushing with it. And then I started like telling myself these little things just to stay away from it, because that's the only reason we do anything, is because of the stuff we learn and the stuff we say to ourselves. So I'm just like, it's not worth it. It's just people pushing it, because, like, why are we drinking milk? You know, it's like it comes from another animal. Maybe a guy just had this animal. He's like, how can I make some money off this? Let me tell them to drink milk. Yeah. So I just took things like that, and it helped me just stay away. Like, now I don't even want it no more. And it's repetition. Yeah. That's how you do anything, or that's how you master anything. It's just doing it over and over and over, just every single time, learning from it. And there's been a few times where I had to set the clock back because, oh, damn, this has eggs in it.
Yeah.
There's been, like, that's always going to happen, but, you know, you don't kill yourself over. You don't beat yourself up. You just know that, hey, all last year, I didn't give that industry any money.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the true voting.
Mm-hmm.
That is number one, like the dollar, bro. Like you can go out there, put in the polls, but whoever had the most dollars is gonna win a lot of the times, you know. And where I put my money in is that's where me saying I think that's right, I think that's wrong.
Right.
So I try to just move towards it just because of how good I feel.
Yeah.
And now I see like all kinds of documentaries, all kinds of other people stepping forward. So I think internet has a lot to do with that because the information you can look up. Granted, a lot of it, you know, could be tinted either way, but once you apply it to yourself and you're like, hey, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
You know, I feel
that's
good.
what you're supposed to do. You take as much information as you can, and then you make it to your own. You make your own choice about it, and then you go from there. You know.
Yeah, and then some people, I guess, even me, I would get to these moments where I would forget that formula and just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
So that's where, like, because some formulas you learn and you run on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you learn, you master, but then you slip on your ways.
Yeah.
And that's me, like, nah, this one I don't want to let go. I need to get back to mastering this one. You know?
Well, that's where you feel the most, you know, comfortable and
yeah.
Now, going back to your comedy,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like your material has changed when you were close to 400 pounds as to what it is now?
No,
I know when you're
it has changed in accordance with the life, because it was like the weight loss and then the relationship too, being single. I did a lot of relationship jokes, and it was just like true life experiences. The fat routine that I used to do, because you know I had to use that weapon.
Right.
It was like 5 minutes, and it was always about how people were reminding me I'm fat. Like I didn't have the issue; they had the issue with being this big.
Yeah.
But for the main part, the way my life goes, the comedy starts going into that. And now it's at the point where I'm just like looking at things in a different way, pulling from my past. Because eventually you just got to keep coming up with new ideas and finding new ways. Because if not, you're telling the same story over and over again. And some people just can't hear it. You know?
Yeah.
Some people love it. You know, there's a lot of people that go, hey, man, do the eyelash one. You know, they'll have that favorite one right there. But for the most part, I like mimicking the life, trying to take whatever, you know, mess me up and finding a way to bring joy to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, the split, the separation joke was I didn't realize how much she did for me until she left.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to the laundromat for 2.5 weeks, bro, before I realized I had a washer and dryer at home. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah. I need to get out.
This doesn't even take quarters, dang.
Yep.
But that was like the sad part and the true part. And for me to tell it to somebody else, and then for them to even be like, oh man, that's true. Like when she did leave, I didn't notice I didn't have that. Like the joke would keep going on. Like, hey, what's my favorite salad dressing? She would just buy it. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, put that one I like.
So dependent on you, right?
Exactly. So when that goes away, you realize that. So to make fun of it helped me deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it goes. I do a lot of the stuff where I like to look at the way society is and ask, you know, how do we get there?
Yeah.
So I talk about like makeup a lot, and I make fun of a lot of like makeup, and then I also talk about being raised by women. Like I had my dad in my life, but for the most part it was my mom and my two sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So a little boy having only influence, you know, female influence, I talked that I would put my pants on the same way they would, you know. So I do this whole routine where I work it out, but I would just pull from memories. I had a friend do like this crazy weird split thing where she was putting all her pants, and I look in that and I'm just like, oh man, I just started putting this whole story together.
Yeah.
So I like being creative like that one sometimes, but it's I guess like paint, bro. Every experience, everything you see, it's just different colors, different hues. I put this together and I try to put this picture where people just get it and they laugh, and then my goal is to just have them laughing. So I always record what I say. on the way home, I listened to it and I'm like, well, here's 20 seconds where they didn't really laugh. Now, if they didn't have to just be paying attention or listening to a setup, I would be like, what can I add? What can I add just to get the even that one's worth it. Like just because if you're doing that 5 times a minute,
you still have them, right?
Your face is gonna hurt, bro. yeah, the videos, yeah. Of course, I listen to them, I get them, and if that's my goal. That's my goal, is to get there, and that's how I get there. I would try out the new thing, listen to it, and be like, what can I fix? What can I change?
Yeah. And then, so, as a comedian, like, your whole thing is making people laugh, making them feel good, right? So it's all about doing that, keeping them busy, keeping doing it. So another thing that you do, though, is as what I was reading as your charities.
Oh yeah,
you do a lot of charities.
I've been lucky because, like I told you, the MySpace, the friends, like, it used to have my shows popping. We would do shows at the Lovitz Club in Universal Studios, and it would be 3 floors. This comedy club was 3 floors, and I would have at least 250 people. I think the max one time we did it with the boys Rico and Mambo. They're out there in Oxnard, and we joined up, did the show. There was like 340 something people there. 3rd floor was like a club and all this stuff. So I was like, man, I got this ability to call these people over together, and we used to give away the tickets because I would either make my money on whatever shirt I was selling, or or the club would be paying me for people coming to see me. Yeah. Because they're buying drinks, they're getting food and all this stuff. So I was like, man, what can I do instead of just giving away the ticket? Because a lot of the times I think when you give something away, people don't respect it the same. Right. It's like, you know what, I didn't put any value into it, so if I miss it, who really cares? Yeah. So I would have instances where like 100 say they're coming, 50 show up. So that type of thing. Right. And I was like, what if I can just get somebody to commit or somebody to feel good about just coming to the show? And I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out to a couple friends, see who I can find. And there was this college out in Fullerton, and they were like, hey, the director that ran our food bank, passed away, and nobody's here bringing food in. They don't know how she was doing, or they didn't have anything coming in. And they do have quite a bit of homeless students that go to that college. Yeah. And I didn't even know that was a thing, bro. Like, I was like, what? That's cool. And we got to help them out. So I just told everybody, instead of the free ticket, you got to bring food to get in. So we do the camp food drive right there. That was great, bro. It was a great feeling that all these people got together, and we just did, like, I think since I've been doing them, it's been close to 1,000 pounds of food. So a ton. Yeah. So little cans of everybody hooking it up. And the thing that sucks about it is that most of my career, it's been me. Running this, doing that, putting all everything together. Yeah. And it got to that point with that show. It got to the point where I couldn't push it as much. I couldn't promote it as much. So the numbers kept going lower and lower and lower. But before because I haven't done one of those shows in a long time. Like, I would say at least a year or 2. And before it ended, it got to the point where we did that 1 ton in food. We did 500 pairs of pants. We would, whatever any charity I was talking to, whatever they needed, we would go for that. There was a few shows that I was trying to reach out to this one charity, because what they do is they collect women hygiene products. Oh yeah. And they give it out to the homeless women, because that's just things that I don't even think about. Yeah, and we don't think. It's perfect because my whole joke that I do about women is to try to get men to realize how lucky we are that we don't have to deal with all that stuff. Like, my favorite joke is like, bro, you can wake up in the morning and just do this. Like, this is it. Like, that's your routine. Ready to go to work. Yeah, then you go. But a lot of them, society's like, oh, you got to fix that face. Yeah. You got to make sure them eyebrows are like perfect. Yeah. Now society's like, just make them look cartoon. Don't even make them look real. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of the reasons I reached out to him and didn't get back to me in time. So I never pushed it as that. I just ended up doing the show. But if I go back to it, I think that's the first product I want to start collecting. That's a good putting one. Out there. Yeah, because I figured you have this, like, power, so to speak. Use it for good. Right. Yeah.
Got to give back,
Yeah.
Like, everybody goes, I mean, the way I see it, people go, they support your show. And
then I would a lot of times I would match. I would throw an extra. Like there was one where we did a show where a lady's like, you know what? I didn't even know you guys were doing this. Here's $60. Go ahead and buy some more socks.
Nice, yeah.
I got the 60. I matched her, gave it to my mom. She went down to like the Swami, bro, and just came back with so many socks.
You know you can get a lot of that at Swami too.
Yeah, I did it another time with pants. I gave her $100. She went out there and gave me 100 pants. But there was these places where she would find them for $1 and she'd be like, I'll take that one. Take that. She would clean them out every day. Yeah. She got her exercise in. Like everybody got help.
Everybody wins. Yeah. That's cool. Project Hero Comedy Night. You got one coming up?
Oh yeah.
That one's coming. That's not until like next year.
Bro,
but you did one. You did one this year.
I did
back
one,
in April.
I did one this year. I think I've done it four or five times. They're gonna hate me because I don't remember, but they love to laugh, man. This is like, no offense to them, man. I love these people, but this is the older crowd. Yeah. Like a lot of white hair in that room, bro.
A lot of veterans.
And to tell you the truth, like I want to do my first DVD like that, because a lot of this crowd you would think wouldn't know me. Yeah. When they love me, I can go back there. They're the ones where I can do that same joke and they'll be like, just like the first time, just like the first time. So for me, it's great. My face hurts when I leave there. Like I smile so much just being there, but they get all these people together and then they raise money to get bikes for Wounded Warriors. Mm-hmm. And they build those custom bikes where they can pedal, with different parts. And dude, it's good what they can do. They do marathon running. They had one where the guy's just pedaling for I forgot how many hours straight. Like he's just trying to set a record or something. Shit. Like it's crazy. I love what they do and the energy that they have. And every time I go there, like it's great, man. Every time I bring out comics too, they're just like, oh, bring them back. Like they're real family oriented. Yeah. Like it's pretty good, bro. It's a great feeling. Yeah. I love being a part of that stuff. And then we never charge them. And every time they always worry about the meal. Like, hey, you want the broccoli? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that one of those gigs that you guys would say that you have the most fun?
Oh, bro, I look forward to that because I know they're ready for it. Yeah. There's a difference when you go on to a show where like it can be a packed room and then people don't know you. Like there's a different feeling of trying to get them, on your side. But when people already know you and they're waiting for it, oh, dude, it's like this freedom, it's like no more. I don't gotta convince you I'm funny. You already know. Yeah. That's that benefit of doing that. And I really do mean it, man. I want to do like a 3-4 camera shoot right there just so you can record them, laughing and then just me up there doing the whole thing. Like I think that would be a trip just to see that the crowd you didn't even think would like this dude. Yeah.
That would actually be really good. Yeah, I think that would be. Have you had a special?
No.
You haven't recorded one.
No, I haven't.
Perfect opportunity.
And you know what? I don't put too much video out there either. Yeah. I don't put too much video out there either because I would hate to see it done anywhere else. And I've seen a lot of friends fall victim to that. But then I know the other side of it is if nobody sees you. Yeah. But I would love to push that and be more like Sticks. Like if I can do a bit, whatever I perform on stage and I turn that into a video, I would like to push it that way because I know that I cannot survive without that medium. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to put all my stuff out there yet. Yeah. I want to keep it because a lot of it, I don't know, it's like a painting that you're not done with yet, and it looked a lot different a few years ago.
Yeah. It's always changing.
Yeah, it's morphing,
adding to it, taking stuff away.
But I got it to the point where it's like constant. Yeah. I get people telling me like I only get 15 minutes and it doesn't feel enough. Like I love it when I go out of state, do the hour, do that whole time where you just kind of like free for it, where you can make them laugh really hard and then just ease them in so they can catch their breath. I have people pounding on tables telling me stop. But that planning and that forming it, and once you got your joke set up, you can paint the picture any way you want. Right. One day it's a story about going to Vegas with 8 women. The other day is a story about growing up with them, or just changing it all, bro. It's pretty fun, man.
Nice. So, do you have any plugs? Any shows coming up?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I always tell people to hit up my website. I actually got the SupWey website, SupWey.com.
SupWey.
SupWey.com. Like, you want t-shirt, hats, any of that stuff, you can get that right there, too. But, let me see what I got.
You even do the booth rental. You got the. We didn't even talk about your booth rental.
Yeah, the city lights. It's on the websites too. Like if you go to SupWey, I got the little tab right there, man. I was gonna start throwing the print shop on there too, but I forgot what somebody told me. They're like, hey, they're gonna see you do all this stuff. They're gonna think you do nothing good. You just know how to be mediocre and all this stuff. But yeah, I got the city lights photo booth right there. If you guys are out in the area, I live closer out there to the Canyon Country area, but if the money's right, we go anywhere.
There you go.
We go anywhere. You gotta check it out. And let's see what else. Yeah, just show your love. That's SupWey.com. That's that main one right there.
Yeah. I love how you package this though, dude.
Oh, bro, the packaging is everything.
That's the shirt, right?
It's aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, yeah, that's the shirt.
Get yourself a little SupWey sandwich.
Yeah, I remember we did a show for the NA, the convention out there, and man, that was a beautiful stage. And I guess they weren't selling food because everybody kept coming by to us, and they're like, "Are those burritos?"
Yeah.
Those burritos? Like they're t-shirts, bro. It's just as good. Just
yeah, sure,
longer.
the burritos.
Yeah. Whatever you wanted to be.
Whatever you want to be. There you go, man. Oh man, well, Julio, thanks a lot, man. It's been fun.
Oh, bro, thank you, man. Thank you.
Man. So again, plug all your Instagram, your social media stuff.
Yeah, that's OG Comedy right there. OG Comedy on Instagram. OG Comedy on Twitter. You can do that. Facebook.com/SupWey.
Yeah.
I don't even use Snapchat that much, so don't even hit me up right there.
It's just there.
And then SupWey.com for all the other shows and everything I got going on. And then people can reach out to me right there. YouTube, check out Julio Comedy. Julio Comedy, Laugh Factory, Julio G. Just look me up, and if I'm funny, share me with a friend. Man.
There you go, man.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing your thing.
Always.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Always. I appreciate you.
Well, there you go, man. This is Fidel, Talking Again podcast. Julio G.
SupWey.
Julio Gonzalez.